Drug addiction affects many people, and once you start, it's often hard to stop. Some of the questions we will be addressing in this video are, what are the effects of certain drugs? How can you stop? Or what are different methods of stopping?
Hey dude, try some of these. Hey, you should try them.
Aren't they bad for you?
No, they make you feel really good. And they make you grow strong, and they're awesome.
Oh, all right. Wait, are you sure?
Yeah, oh yeah, and don't worry, like you can just stop whenever you want to. It's not that bad.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. See you later. Welcome to the dark side.
We're just going to be kind of sitting around and kind of casually discussing stuff about drugs and questions that we might have, I guess.
What should we teach everybody about drugs?
That it's often biased, like you said before, with certain facts. It's not always fact. Like there's never
never one answer.
There's not just one answer. Yeah.
There could be multiple reasons why people use drugs, and there could be multiple reasons why people become addicted to drugs, not just use them.
Yeah.
The main reason that I've been taught in my chemical dependency courses is that people use drugs for the pain of life, meaning anything that could inflict pain or uncomfortableness or any kind of emotion could trigger somebody to use drugs to get rid of that pain, especially in a long-term situation. And they don't necessarily think they're going to be using drugs forever, but it becomes out of habit. And because they don't have the feelings or emotions that they used to, it just kind of covers all that up, so they don't have to deal with it at the time.
Yeah. And there's also that recreational use of drugs where someone will use it just that one time, have a good time or whatever, then they may never touch it again.
Right, and yeah.
So
yeah, not everybody that uses drugs can become addicted.
Right.
It is a very real aspect, though, because there's many people who have big pains of life, I guess you could say.
And they use that to cope with it.
Right, or they necessarily might not know that they need it to cope, or they use it to cope, and they try it the one time, and it's just for fun for the first, few times they do it, and then
it turns into a need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like there is some people that can just to use, and then there's a fine line though. People can butt up right to that line of addiction, and then never cross it to become addicted and need help or have it cause problems in their lives. But the people that do cross that line, in order to overcome your addiction, you need to, first of all, they need to realize that they have their problem, and they need to seek help through support groups such as AA or treatment facilities, whether inpatient or outpatient, or just some kind of spiritual support team.
And I guess too, on rare occasion, I know this probably isn't maybe as big of a cause, but peer pressure too can oftentimes help.
The initial use of the drug, in order, like, most people are introduced to it by peers.
Right.
Some are introduced to it by parents or family.
Or even sometimes just randomly looking online or something for something like a solution to their stress or something else, and that'll pop up and they're like,
Right.
wait.
Right, and even accidentally becoming addicted to a drug such as opiates for like pain relievers and that kind of thing. Doctors prescribe these pain relievers to people legitimately for their pain, but may not realize that they could be an addict and prescribe them too many. Or don't give them the step-down process it takes to get off of the drug. They just take them off, and then they're realizing that they're addicted to that opiate or pain reliever and could possibly search for it on the street. That's when it becomes more dangerous because of like heroin's an opiate, and not a lot, but I guess pain addicts or opiate addicts, most of them start out with painkillers, and then they end up in the opiate world or the heroin world, and then life spins out of control, I would believe.
Yeah. And like some of the side effects for the drugs too, I think a lot of people aren't educated about that. They just think, oh yeah, it'll just reduce my pain of what I'm going through, and there's no side effects, because a lot of people
Right, they only see the good, they don't see the negative after effect, and a lot of people don't realize the negative side effects of the after effect of using drugs, because they use drugs again to not feel the side of the withdrawals is really what they are. Like for painkillers or opiates, the withdrawals can last for months trying to get off of them. You can have the shakes, there's a list of just so many side effects for opiates. For amphetamine use, there's, you have dreams about using amphetamine for months and months, sometimes a year after. You can have dreams that can trigger any kind of relapse or, uncomfortableness for that. I know when you use amphetamines after your initial high of a couple of days, after you use it, it's like a week till you can snap back into some kind of normalcy, get up in the morning and get it ready for the day. Whereas if you use amphetamine, a few days after you use it and you don't have it again, you don't get up. You just lay there no matter what tasks you may have at hand. Most people just can't shake the come down of the drug, and that's another reason why people use again and again and again, and they use it just so they can get out of bed every day. Which, when you first use it, you don't feel like you're going to be there, dependent on a chemical, but all of a sudden you blink your eyes and bam, you're just under its power. It's kind of just not it's not something that you expect when you just recreationally take it, or you think you're taking it recreationally, and then see people that go through the stages. Maybe an outsider can see it, but the addict themselves can't really. They're blind to it. So how do they get help then if they don't know what's happened?
And they just think it's normal, so they have no clue.
Yeah, that's the scary part of it. Some people don't realize how bad they really are
until they get up to that.
Until they hit rock bottom. And then rock bottom, once you're at rock bottom, you're so scared you don't really want to do anything to help yourself. You kind of want everybody else to just take the reins and do it for you. I see it as addiction is a really hard process. Recovery is even harder for some, because they are too embarrassed to show that they're addicted to something or to tell people that they have a problem. Because there's that stigma that goes with addiction, that it's their choice, they made those choices, the bad choices, their morals are wrong or their values are wrong, therefore they are wrong. And that's not the case. It's just, there's different theories on why people become addicted or why they continue to use, even though they know they have negative results or bad consequences for it, like the genetic aspect. If there's a gene in addicts' bodies that make them, continue to use the drug without being able to stop, it may not have been proven, but all signs show that is a very, very big possibility.
Mm-hmm.
There is the disease model, that addiction is a disease, and that's actually known. It's called the Minnesota disease model. It's known that it has all the factors as if cancer has. That's primary. It's a primary disease. It's treatable. It's fatal. It's progressive.
Mm-hmm.
All of the aspects of like any other kind of disease in the medical field, addiction fits. So it's recognized as an actual disease. And that's where it gets a little bit easier to recover from, because you can pinpoint it then. Whereas if you can't really put a name to the face, I guess, so to say, it's hard to say it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And like, a lot of people, if their parents did it, or if they've been around that their whole life, I know that for some people that can really influence their choices later on.
Right, that's where the gene model would come in. If like your parents are addicted, or your grandparents have some kind of addiction, or they are more likely to use or abuse chemicals than if someone whose parents or did not have any kind of historical background for addiction. Environmental issues, like if your friends or school and you're around that plays a big factor too. It's all on there's no, like I said, there's no way to pinpoint exactly what causes addiction or what will lead up to addiction. The only way to prevent becoming an addict is to be aware of
the side effects of it and kind of...
and just not do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows who can be the recreational user, and who knows who's going to become an addict. You don't know until you use the drug, and then you're so far into it that you are the addict, or you've used it once and not. It's a 50-50 chance, and I don't see that being very prudent to just risk all of it for
a 50-50 chance, right?
Right. It's like the same thing the doctors told me, like, well, you can get back surgery to make your back feel better, or you can get back surgery and have it be worse. And it's a 50% chance whether it's going to get better or it's going to get worse. And I won't take that risk.
No, that's
So taking the risk of becoming addicted and losing so many different things, financially, emotionally, relationship-wise, everything you could lose. I just don't see that being a very good decision on anybody's part. I hope that some of our video, or like any part of our videos, will help somebody just be like, nope, not for me. I mean, if somebody is addicted and needs help, the best place in this area in the National Falls to go, I feel, would be any AA group at the club there. Let's see, Rainy River Recovery is a good recovery center. There's also one in Little Fork. There's AA groups in Little Fork. It doesn't necessarily have to be Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's Narcotics Anonymous as well. And people don't need to feel judged being an addict. I just are scared that somebody's going to say something about them, because there's more addicts than you think, and there's more people that attend them groups than you would think in your head. Yeah, it's not like just a bunch of older drunk guys that used to be drinkers guys sitting around reading out of this big book. It's, there's young people, older people, middle, all different kind of financial situations, all different kinds of people that just come together and have one same issue, they have a problem, you know, and it's not.
Like there are other people that go through that too. It's not just
Right, and you're not like an outcast. You walk in there and all eyes are on you. It's not like that. They don't, you know, it's a more welcoming place than
You're not the only one kind of thing.
Right.
I know what you've gone through or going through. Let's work together to try and help it or fix it.
Right. Yep. And it's just basically a place that, like we're doing right now, just sitting and talking about stuff.
Right.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. And believe it or not, it actually helps people greatly if they stick to it. Like I just want people to know that they're not alone in their situation and to get help for it.
because that's really helpful. Even with like, this is totally random, but little things like school assignments. Like once someone says, "Oh, I'm struggling so much with this," and someone else like agrees with them, you're like, "Whoa, I'm not the only one that's struggling with this."
I thought I was 4 weeks behind by myself. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then sometimes you'll even work together with that other person to catch up, which
Right, and just having one person to help you through it is better than having no people who you just keep continuing to make the same decision because you don't know another way out. And I mean, like the first steps are really hard, and some people need a little more intensive care than some people don't have even a place to sleep at night that are using drugs because they just that's all they right.
That's your life, right?
And so when like that's where like inpatient would come in and that kind of stuff and a really big problem in our community, or not just our community but all over the world, is finances to pay for treatment when you need it. A lot of people get turned down for treatment because they can't pay for it. I think that's an issue that our government needs to definitely take care of. Insurance is a big thing these days, and
yeah.
it kind of creates a big problem for people who don't have the means to take care of themselves financially, but yeah, that's
And
why.
that would be awesome if someone made like a non-profit thing where people donated to help. Like I'm sure there is
There
somewhere.
should be, and I think there's grants and stuff that are given and whatnot, but there's just so many addicts that, and
That
it
it's
costs
never-
so, the cost for treatment is, you would not believe how much it is. It's just, it's absolutely insane. You know, you can go to think about when you go to the doctor to get treated for anything else, it's a pretty big bill.
Yeah, even just for a checkup.
Oh, right,
Sometimes
right.
It can be expensive.
Yeah, thank goodness, like AA and that kind of stuff is free.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go in there and get support by your fellow people, and if treatment's needed, then treatment's needed. But people will always help you, no matter if you have the money or not. There's places that will find a way to get you into treatment, get you help, even if finances aren't there. So it's always comforting.
To know that, yeah, for sure. Hey, can I interview you?
Sure.
Okay. So I see you've been doing some drugs and stuff.
Oh yeah, where you been seeing me? Kerry Park, Ronnie's parking lot, familiar places.
Could you tell me a little bit about your experience?
Oh, sure thing. Basically, it's like this. Oh, time's done.
Gotcha. So what do you do for a living, kinda?
Well, first, after school, you gotta, go right into the church parking lot. Just make sure you outrange their cameras, and then you wheel and deal a little bit. You make your living for the week, and you go home and smoke hash every day.
So, where do you live? Do you have a house or apartment?
I bum around town with my friends and Kerry Park.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
See you later, man.